sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to the AOR Esports Team Tournament. I am Austin Knight. I am joined by my great friend Jens. Jens, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. How about you?
I am doing just fantastic. And we're here in Spa. Almost everybody's favorite track here in the entire F1 community, and we have some of the fastest drivers in the world on PC here today. I believe you muted yourself again. You did. Okay. Anyway, we got a full grid for us today as everyone's coming out for the qualifying session. We're here in lovely Spa in the Belgian mountains. A little track facts pop up for y'all. I hope you guys are ready for one, and we're going to go straight to qualifying and on to the track. We're actually going to hop on board with RR Janab, and he's going to bring us around a little hot lap here in Belgium. As there is a car already crashed out, but coming down through this little kink of turn 2, coming up to the famous El Rouge and Radion. One of the most famous corners in all of Formula 1, and down opens up the DRS, down the Kemmel Straight. This is his out lap, and we're going to be watching everything from the TV cams, but I want to get this hot lap pretty much started, lap started. And he's coming into Le Combs of turns 7, 8, and 9. Keeping his car pretty straight, warming up the tires, braking early for Bruxelles of turn 10. Going through the turn with no name, otherwise known as turn 11. And coming to one of the fastest corners in all of Formula 1. It's Puhan, the downhill left-hander. Might see some moves happening over there. Coming up into turns 13, 14, and 15, also known as Campus. And coming up to Stavelot, also known as turn 15. Running a bit wide, but he's going to come out rocketing, avoid that barrier of Coppe Pas Frere. And coming up to Blanchimont. Turn 18 right here. Also part of Blanchimont, and then final turn, it is the chicane. Left and then right. And that is a lap around Spa-Francorchamps.
I would imagine quite slow compared to what we'll be seeing for qualifying times.
Well, it was an out lap, so.
Yeah, but still slow.
Also, I'm glad you finally unmuted yourself.
Yeah. You're cutting out a bit, but now it's good.
Ah. Well, Colas has already invalidated his lap. Let's take a look at Alvaro Carreton of the dominating Williams team right now. Working hard for Les Comps.
This looks like he's taking there's two lines through Brussels. Look like he took the one where you huck the curb a bit compared to what others might think, going a bit wide and then taking a late apex in that corner.
Yeah, he's got a bit of traffic of one of the rapid racers up ahead of him as his teammate of Timp takes a fast down on 141.006. Carreton following the rapid racers car, but he actually switches down to 0 ARS, and as I believe he's invalidated that lap, or is just too mad, as that is actually Janab ahead of him. Janab's still going on. He's actually on the medium tires, which, speaking of tire strategy, as Topa takes a new fast lap in, and actually Janab slows down, but new fast lap does belong to the Red Bull Esports team and the driver of Topa. No, I'm not saying the last part of his name.
Yes, Scandinavians having trouble with that.
See Sinak right now going up through El Rouge and Radion. And the ERL car. Sinak looking pretty good down the Kemmel Street.
as there's some yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. I imagine that's some guys on out laps or in laps.
Yeah,
Giving...
you'll see a lot of yellow flags during the session, and a lot of retirements throughout the end. And I want to talk to you about the pit strategy that we have here for Spa. Now, you won't see a lot of people qualifying on the super soft tires. If they do, they'll be expected to pit around laps 4 through 6, and if they go on the softs, expect them to go lap 8 through 10. You could stay on the mediums, though, and do the reverse one-stop. So, strategy is up in the air. Super softs go away, but expect a lot of soft runners during this race.
Yeah, seeing it as a long track, it's wearing the tires quite hard. Also quite tricky in some bits. Really, those super soft tires really don't last that long, even though they're fast.
Hard on the brakes. Sinek actually locks up going into the chicane, and he actually goes into the pits. Let's take a look at not runner of CRG in the Haas. Coming up through the chicane right now. Is he going into the pits? No, he's staying out. He's on the mediums. He's finishing up his lap, opens up DRS, and going to come across the line. CRG non-runner joining his teammate of Jan Feller in 8th. Pretty slow lap, so I believe there might have been some blockage right there, because that's a 147. His teammate did a 143. But Williams in the top time, no, Red Bull in the top time of Topa and Preschner, both in the 140s. Those guys are miles ahead of everyone else. Take a look at Assassin in the Rapid Racing team. He's having a bit of a slow start. He's coming through campus right now. Both the Rapid Races going pretty slow. I believe they've already done one lap. Yeah, they have, and Assassin pulls off and lets the Sauber through. I believe that is James Pinkster. It is James. He's going through Corpa Palfre and coming up to Blanchimont. He's invalidated his lap. Thank you, James.
That definitely makes it easier to commentate it.
Can't commentate a lap if he's invalidated it. But starting his lap right now, we rode with him on the hot lap. Let's ride with him again. It's Janab. Big logger from Janab going into La Source right now. He's got a bit of traffic coming out ahead of him of Collis and the Sauber and the Red Bull. Not sure which one of the Red Bull drivers right there, but they're going side by side through El Rouge and Radion. But thankfully, none of them hit as Janab's rocketing down the Kemmel Straight on the soft tires. 10 minutes to go. A lot of people have not put on a fast time yet, but we do see this in a lot of AOR races. Janab takes a big bite of the gravel right there. Janab's approaching Puon. Keeping it nice tight. Actually grows a bit wide. Oh, he suffers some understeer. He's drifting around Puon. That's definitely going to destroy his tires and his time. And now drops the ERS down to 3. So he's going to be taking it easy to just keep his car on track. He does not have a time on those soft tires. Yeah, he's coming around Stavila and onto Corpa Palfrere. Oh, and he hits the wall! Janab has hit the wall, but he's kept on going. I think that might have been my American connection right there, but Janab is pulled off to 0 ERS after that incident with the wall.
He definitely hit the wall because I saw it as well.
Well, I'm surprised his car is still a one shape.
Yeah, because coming through that very fast right-hander, it's really not good to hit that wall, and he comes into the pits. He could have broken some front wing. I couldn't quite see any, but he really hit the wall there.
And the car behind Janab that he passed up going from El Rouge and Radion, he's currently down on the Kemmel Straight. It's the Red Bull driver, the Monaco master, Chem Bolek-Bassi. Yes, I learned how to say his name. Yay. Chem, bit of a lockup going through Bruxelles right now. Going wild the curb, his back end kicked out just a little bit, but he recovered it. He's going through turn 10, turn 11. and approaching Puon. Running a bit wide, but he keeps it all together, unlike Janab, as he approaches turn 13, 14, and 15 of campus. Going through Stavelot and on to Copa Paul Ferrer. Sham is looking like he is on a blistering lap time on those super soft tires. As Corny is the first one to retire with 7 minutes ago. Yeah, that might have been a crash. Probably has been a crash.
Yeah, oh yeah, big one.
What's happened?
Just at turn 11, I think may have hit the wall because he was in the middle of the track, ghosted, with one tire off and missing quite a bit of his front wing.
Oh. Well, while that happened, Sham set his time, and he's now sitting 6th place. Just almost half a second, bit more than half a second behind of Crow, who is sitting on top for Suzu. Actually, as I said, that Preschnader takes the top spot for VP Gaming in that Renault with a 1:44.93. Amazing time for Preschnader right there. Alvaro Caraton in the Williams. Williams been dominating most of the races, almost all the races, I believe. Dominating this entire tournament. And Alvaro has not set a time left with 6 minutes, but he's currently rocketing onto the chicane. Keeping it tight, keeping it good, keeping it nice. Opens up DRS and down the front straight. Caraton goes up into P2. Just, oh my goodness. That gap between Preschnader and Caraton. 1/100th of a second separates them. Well, actually 200ths of a second. 0.19. It's close.
Yeah, it's a very close gap up there. But it's all about the 10th.
It is all about the 10th as everyone's going into the pits for one more lap. Let's take a look at James Pinkster for Visceral Gaming. Coming up through El Rouge and riding on. It's just, that turn is just so wonderful to look at.
Ooh, as Torpa left the session.
Thankfully that is just a connection issue, not a crash. Hopefully he can get back in very soon. I believe we had a few other people lose connection to the session right as well, but they were able to get their car back in here as James coming through campus and Stavelot right now. A little bit of blip of the throttle. James had a little bit of lift off as he was coming up through the barrier on the exit of Copa Paul Ferrer. It's now rocketing through Blanchimont. Pretty good right now. Hard on the brakes. And into the pits as Tapa has come back.
These guys without a time that's still in the pits, there's really going to be some pressure on them coming the end of this section. This session, as they will be having one go and really having to put in the time. Oh, as I think Marek has crashed somewhere.
Yeah, he has. Don't know where though.
Well, let's find out. Hopefully.
Going on to Patrick 44 of the ERL team. So let's see if he can do a little bit of scouting for us where that car has crashed. I don't see any yellow flags, so.
No, I were on board with Tim, but I couldn't see anyone out there.
Alright, let's actually Tim starting his flying lap. Tim sitting in 6th place. Only half a second behind a Pressinator up at front. See if Tim can get a little drag off his teammate. As Alvaro Caraton is actually ahead of him. Coming up to the Campbell Straight. This actually might be a masterstroke by Williams right here.
Yes, it could be us down this straight with the slipstream. That's going to be an amazing speed boot for Tim.
Oh yeah, they're definitely playing that. Alvaro gets out of the way and Tim rockets past Alvaro as they enter Les Combes. As Alvaro is doing some yard work. Good braking strategy by Alvaro right there. Roxel's coming up and the unnamed turn 11. Hops over the curb just a bit, but Tim keeping it locked on and ready. Drops the ERS down a little bit wide through Pouon. The Red Bull cart gets out of his way. Tim entering campus right now. He is on an absolute flyer. Coming through Stavelot. And Coupe Parfreux. And up into Blanchimont. Brakes on for the chicane. No lockups. Actually, a little bit of a lockup there. Just one little tiny bit of smoke. Gets a good ace. It opens up DRS and Tip comes across the line in first place. That is pole for Williams with 1 minute to go. And he takes Pressinator's time. And will Alvaro Caraton work with Tip right here and make it a Williams 1-2?
It looks like it, as he was going quite slow, but it doesn't look like it. Or well, it actually does. Yeah.
Yeah, they've slipstreamed up once more. This is great teamwork by Williams right here. Caraton and Tip. Tip gets out of the way around the same area where Alvaro got there. And now Alvaro entering Les Combes. This is great teamwork by the Williams team. Both of them on the super soft tires. Last around 4 to 6 laps for the start of the race. We're running a little bit wide. Hopping over the curbs of the unnamed turn 11. Into Pouon back left, back right tire. Actually riding on that curb just a little bit. Like he is back-ended to kick out right there. But Alvaro Caraton keeping it locked in as they're going through Stavelot. We're up through Blanchimont right now. Alvaro looking like he can take pole or take second place with this. Both of them with the top three all within 1/10 of a second with each other. It is anyone's game. Alvaro getting on the gas and coming across the pole. It is pole for Alvaro Caraton. And wow, that is by 2/10 too. See if Pressinator has anything to say about it. He was sitting up the pole. Now he drops to third by both of the Williams. He's got a slow ERL car ahead of him. He's going to get a little bit of a draft through Blanchimont. Whoa, they've almost collided right there. Pressinator comes up into P2. And actually, Tip is on another lap, but Tip is just going slow. I think he's actually ran out of fuel.
Could be.
Yeah, he is out of fuel.
Seems like he is run out of fuel.
Last car to come across the line. It is James Pinster. And he jumps up into P12 as Assassin has retired from the session. But taking pole, it is the Williams team of Alvaro Caraton. They do not get the 1-2 like they planned, as Pressinator spoils that party and joins them on the front row.
What a great qualifying that was for the pole position shootout.
As we finish that qualifying session, gain a little bit of XP. Here are your qualifying results. It is Alvaro Caraton taking pole, followed by Prestrator, Tip, Topa, Crow, Patrick, Chembalibasi, Sinak, Colas, Corny, Jan Feller, James Pinkster, Assassin, Janab, Non-Runner, Vito, Merrick. Coming up at the end. I'm surprised that Vito did not set a time. Merrick also not setting a time, so they will start at the back. And everyone in the top 7, all within a second of each other. So that is where the main fight is going to be.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato.
It's going to be a very interesting race with those guys at the top. They're very fast in qualifying, but will they show the same pace in the race?
Yeah, the pace in qualifying and the race is all different. Also, it's also on what strategy you want to go for. You have the soft tires, you have the super soft, you have the softs, and you have the medium tires. This track eats up tires for breakfast, especially the super soft tires. The softs, you can do a one-stop on all of these. It's just when you want to pit is the one that you need to go on.
It's very important when you come out to the end of your lap to really be just mental about your tires, because if you go on for another lap and you should have pitted, it's gonna you're really gonna suffer coming around the end of your next lap.
As we're just waiting for everyone to get started on this formation lap, we have the track facts popping up for y'all right now. In case you want to learn some history about Spa-Francorchamps, and just get ready to go as they have gone their way onto that formation lap. So let's take a look at the tires and who is starting where. It is Alvaro Caraton up at front, and everyone in the top 10, all of them on the super soft tires, but everyone in the back, they're taking a little bit of a mix, some on the medium, some on the soft, and Merrick on the super soft, so they're doing their own things. But first row, it is Renault. It is the Williams team and VP of Alvaro Caraton and VP Prestrator. The second row, it is Tip and Topa. Third row, it is Crow and Patrick. In the fourth row, it is Chem and Sinak. And in the fifth row, it is Colas and Corny. The sixth row, it is Jan Feller and James Pinkster. And in the seventh row, it is the Rapid Racer team of Assassin and Janab. Both of them starting side by side, but on different tires, I must say. So both teams both drivers of the same team not taking similar strategies. As Non-Runner and Vito start the row back, and starting in last, it is Merrick. They rejoin up with the leaders right now. Who do you have in this race? Pop up the little pit strategy thing we got on right here. Remember, the super softs take around 4 to 6 laps before they need to go into the pits, and then the softs last to 8 to 10 laps before they switch on to the mediums. One stops are a thing, but the super softs will have their work out cut out in the end to hold off the charging medium runners. As everyone's getting lined up and ready to go, I hope you guys are ready for round 6 here in Spa. Only 22 laps here today because this is the longest track on the calendar. It is still a 50% race, but since this is the longest track, not a lot, as it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away they go here in Spa. Great start by Colas and Merrick immediately jumping on Crows. They're going 3 wide. Topod taking wide, but Freshinator and Alvaro Caraton and Timp all of them defending that inside line. Is a bit of a wild spread as James Pissier also picks up 2 places. Merrick picking up 2 places there, coming up through El Rouge and Radion for the first time today. So they're already going side by side. Pressure and Alvaro Caraton, they might be going 3 wide. Williams Timp also looking very dicey up there. Is this a massive field? They're almost going 4 wide right now and up the middle. It is Alvaro Caraton, but pressures him around the outside and holds up the inside. And for the lead, it is Pressure. Actually pushes the back of Alvaro Caraton right now. And Alvaro looking up the inside, side by side, going into Brussels. And Alvaro Caraton forcing his way back into the lead. Looks like Vito and Janab has had a bit of an issue at the back as they're all flying through Pouhon right now. Pressinator under pressure by Timp as they're coming up through turns 13 and 14.
Great start by Marek, jumping up 4 positions.
Rocketing down through Blanchemont. All of them so close to each other. We didn't really focus on the midfield fight as the fight at the front was just insane as we looked like we're going to have a move. Timp looked down the inside, was trying to defend from any dive bombs, but all of them all within the line right now. Both the ERL guys getting side by side with each other as well as the Red Bull team. A little bit 2x2 action right there. We're all coming down the front straight and getting ready to go one more time up El Rouge and Radion for lap 2. Actually a little gap coming from these guys as well. Here comes Pressinator. Pressinator up the inside. DRS not assisted, holding that inside line, and Pressinator sneaks one up the inside of Alvaro Caraton and retakes first place.
Great racing by him, just going down the inside there.
Going through No Name right here. We saw Alvaro make a move once again for the lead, but he was unable to do it this time. Pressinator pulled out a little bit of a gap to Alvaro right here. And he's making that look good for him as well. They're going through Pouhon and up through campus.
Yeah, as we see just Caraton hunting him down, trying not to make any mistakes or maybe just get a mistake out of Pressinator. Just to get an opening to make it overtake.
Draw coming through Blanchemont right now. Alvaro maybe looking for a move up the inside, but he's going to keep it clean because he's going to try to stay with Pressinator and just make his move on the Camel Straight, keeping it smart and ready and using the slipstream for him as DRS is now enabled. Pressinator puts in the fast lap. It was lap 2. It's going to be a fast lap right now, but DRS is now enabled. Alvaro Caraton will definitely have an advantage down the Camel Straight. And Camel Straight is pretty much a great equalizer in all of Spa. You can risk overtakes here, but a guaranteed overtake spot and a guarantee for great battle is down this Camel Straight. Pressure defends on the inside, already taking up a defensive position, but he swings back in front of Alvaro Caraton, destroying that slipstream opportunity and staying ahead of Alvaro right there.
Yeah, but further downfield we're seeing Fairland Pinsker battling into Lecombe there as it's almost 3 wide between Marek, Fairland Pinsker as they keep it side by side through Brussels, then coming down to corner No Name as it looks like Fairland came out top there, but Pinsker still staying behind him and Marek coming into that fight.
Yeah, Marek 4 positions up on where he qualified. He did qualify last as he did not set a time. I believe he did crash as we see James trying to make a move down the inside of Feller, but he stays right behind him. James, also known as Smeesh to a few other people in the AOR community. Merrick dancing on the back of James right here. as they fly through Copa Paul Ferrer. We might see a move coming into the bus stop chicane.
Pinsky's going defensive through those corners, but what will they do? He's also coming in with defensive line. And that's Merrick!
What a send! He's going to go for 2 positions in 1 corner. He got James already in. He's having a little drag race with Feller right now. Merrick swinging to the outside of LaSource. They're side by side. Feller on the inside. Merrick around the outside going for 2 positions. And yes, he does get it. What a double overtake by Merrick right now. James also looking to make a move on Jan Feller, but Jan defending that nicely. Jan actually getting a bit loose coming up through Radion. They open up DRS now. Merrick under pressure from the DRS runners. They got 4 in a row drafted behind them. Then Jan Feller trying to make the move around Merrick around the outside, but the Merrick has the super soft tires on. He does get the grip, and he does force his way out ahead. And now James Pinkston trying to go up the inside of Jan Feller. They're side by side. The Rapid Racer team don't count them out yet. They're watching this, licking their chops, and ready to fight right now as James goes around the outside of Bruxelles and gets the overtake.
Brilliant overtaking all the way down from the bus stop chicane and then down the Camel Straight. Great racing. Merrick moving up 6 positions from his start.
And while we're covering that, the battle at the front did change as Alvaro Caraton is back in the lead. But that was some insane midfield battles that we saw. So we're on board with the Red Bull of Topa. As all the super soft runner guys all in their own little group right now. A bit under pressure by a few other people, but their pit window is coming up. Remember that. As Alvaro Caraton sets the new fast lap, the pit strategy is 4 to 6 laps on this super soft tire. So at the end of this lap, expect some of the super soft drivers to maybe go for the pit strategy. All the drivers on the soft try to go 8 to 10 laps. And then around lap 12, expect the medium tire runners to try to make a move as Freshner trying to make a move, and he almost made the pass already on the exit of Radion as Williams goes 3 wide down the Camel Straight. They leave Alvaro Caraton in the dust. Williams tip up the inside, forcing Freshner out wide, and Timp takes the lead.
Yes, he does. Great overtaking there down the Camel Straight, having a good toe there. Almost having it even before they come out with the DRS.
Yeah, Timp actually running away from Pressure right now. A lot of speed gained from Timp. Out of the exit of the corner with no name. Well, Timp might have had a little bit of a bad exit as Alvaro Caraton following close up with Freshneder.
Yep, Preshner just sitting here behind Timp through that that corner there, just trying to get a mistake off him as Caraton is also behind Preshner. They're real close up at the front. Come into the bus stop. There, Caraton locking up a bit.
Oh, if we are the first people going to the pits, it is Timp and Crow. Cobot inherits the 3rd place, but Timp, first one going into the pits. Crow also joining him, and as well as Corny. Timp going for those medium tires. Oh, James has left the session.
Well, could that be some connection issues? I think
it is. It is.
Yeah, he hasn't crashed, so it's definitely some connection issues.
Very disastrous for the VSR team right there as Caraton and Freshener race down the Camel Straight. The battle for the lead is just between these two as their teammates go into the pits and rejoin back on track with Timp leading out that group in 14th position. Now, do you think the undercut would be the best here or no? Because the pit lane's around 20 seconds, and Timp and Crow have already closed in that gap to around 17 seconds to both of these guys. And they're closing it fast.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's the undercut will work out because as the second you go for a lap more, it's a lot of grip lost. So you'll be losing time every time you just go for another lap. So I think the undercut will work out.
Less grip, less speed, less lap time, and honestly, it's going to be a close one as they come into the pits, but it looks like Williams Tip might have the edge on Preschnader and Keraton, as we might see both these guys go into pits. Yes, they do. They're actually racing into the pits. We aren't going to see an overtake right here. Oh my goodness, Alvaro almost gets loose. And yeah, Topa joins them in the pits. Shem takes the lead and inherits it right now. He's going to go for another lap. As I see Merrick and Sinak taking a little bit of dicey action coming into La Source right behind him. But where does Tip come out? Tip does come out ahead of him. They're actually racing on the exit. Preschnader and Tip, the battle for the lead side by side, but Tip just has the speed on the exit, and he carries his way ahead of Preschnader for the net lead of this race. A great undercut by Tip right there.
Yeah, the undercut working like a treat for him.
But Preschnader is still on his tail. Preschnader on the fresher lap on the fresher tires to Tip. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, further on in the race, it's going to be real interesting to see how they're managing their tires, because Preschnader on a lap better tires. So Tim might have gotten the track position now, but he will maybe be suffering towards the end.
Well, also fuel strategy and ERS strategy come into play as Preschnader falls down to his second on Tip as Topa gains a position on... Oh yeah, that's James. We rejoin the Rapid Racing team up in 5th and 6th. They really haven't gotten a lot of points, but they do run very close with each other, because I believe they did get 1 point in Monaco and almost had a point in Austria. But both these guys sitting in 5th and 6th right now, trying to make the strategy work for them. Janab on the mediums, Assassin on the softs, as Sinak goes into the pits. And Merrick, who started all the way in last, is in 2nd right now.
Great driving from him, but has he worn his super soft tires out a bit too much?
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
He's just enjoying going through the field right now, as your net leader is still Williams Tip. I almost said Assassin right there. Tip actually pulling out a gap of 1.3 seconds to Preschnader, who is sitting in net 2nd right now. We're all flying down the Kemmel Straight. Well, it's pretty spread out.
I think Preschnader is taking some time to get his tires up to temperature.
Yeah, Tip on the older tires, so it kind of expected him to have a early on lead to Preschnader, since he did have his tires up to temperature and up to grip. And that's probably why he took off around Lecombe and Brussels.
Yeah, that could be a thing, as you really need the tire grip and temperature through there.
Saw Janab going a bit wide right now. Merrick closing in on Chem Bolabasi. Chem going extremely slow down through... He actually slowed up a lot going through Blanchemont and coming into the chicane. Those tires are definitely out. Chem actually drifting it around, and we might go side by side by Merrick, trying to find his way around Chem. Chem drifting it around in the pits, and as they both go into the pit. Yeah.
I think Chem got a puncture.
No, he didn't
doing that drift.
I don't like at the very end of that, he might have got a puncture. And your new leader right now, it is CRG Jan Feller.
Yes, indeed it is, as he's just in front of Shanab, but they're both on old medium tires.
Yeah, the fresh running soft tires are directly behind them, as Alvaro Keraton and Crow They have DRS on each other, and Alvaro falling down 2 positions from his teammate. Definitely wanting to close in on them.
Yeah, pitting later wasn't the best strategy for him.
He went for the undercut, and it worked for his teammate, but Alvaro just stayed out for just a bit too longer. And, wait. Going for the overcut did definitely not work out for him, but it might work out in the later runs if it does become a tire wear game. As Tip closing up on Janab right now for P2.
If Tim plays this well, he can stay behind without losing time and then get him on the camel straight. Make him a sitting duck.
He might try to get him right now through Blanchemont, and yes he is! He's going up the inside of Janab! They're side by side through one of the fastest corners in all of F1, and Tip just sneaks by for P2. Hard on the brakes, Janab not trying to fight that one back. He will have DRS coming down this little chute, coming up to the source, but it is Tip in P2.
Yeah, and now it's just the question, when will Preshnator catch up and overtake? Because if he is stuck behind for too long, it's just gonna let Tim get out a lead on him.
And we saw this in Monaco, where Tip... Oh! Well, that's Janab
off.
Janab off, did not hit anything. His car is fine, but that was a very easy move by Tip right there, as Alvaro Caraton and Crow going side by side down the Camel Straight, and I believe Alvaro got the jump on Crow right there, and he snuck his car right directly in front. Yeah, he did. Now I was saying, just like in Monaco, Tip was behind of Janab with that giant train that he had going on, and once he got past him, he just won that race by a mile. And we've seen him take advantage of slower running cars and cars on different strategies before, as non-runner picks up a 3-second time penalty. As Alvaro Caraton now right behind Janab, trying to get past him. Janab like a movie chicane for these faster drivers, but he's still racing for position.
Yes, he very much is, and I think he'll be defending quite a bit. At least looks like it, as he went a bit defensive there.
Well, as I know, Janab, he loves a good fight. As they are coming...
They're coming to the bus stop. Now, that's Alvaro Caraton sticking it down the inside through bus stop.
Crow hit him.
Will he get it? Yes, he will. Oh, Crow behind him there. She said hit him.
Yeah, I gave him a little bit of a tap as they're pushing up as Feller goes into the pits. And now the lead rejoins back to William Simp.
Yes, indeed.
This is the battle for the last podium spot of third place between Crow and Alvaro Caraton. We are halfway into this race.
Crow almost pushing the Williams down the straight there.
Yeah, he's just sitting in that slipstream, just trying to make any good with his strategy and car position, trying to psych out Alvaro Caraton as much as he can, but Alvaro just has the pace, and he's now pulling away through No Name. He has a half a second gap to him, and Crow just needs to stick to his back end and stick to that gearbox as Assassin picks up another 3-second time penalty. That is not good for the Rapid Racing team.
No, it is definitely not.
So it looks like one of the ERL guys ERL and VSR might have a little bit of fight in P7 and 8. Haven't seen much of the ERL team today. They've been mostly in the midfield, but they've been doing very good for themselves in this championship.
Yes, indeed they have. Now let's see.
Few points in the midfield here and there. Oh my goodness, Patrick, big lockup as Janab finally goes into the pits. That brings Topa up into 5th place. Gonna rejoin Crow and Keraton right now as they're gonna have a battle down that Camel Straight. We might see Crow make a move on Keraton right here. DRS is
coming from behind. It will be interesting to see if he can catch up enough.
He is way too far behind, but in the braking zone, he does make a little bit of lunge. And he does close in on Alvaro, but Alvaro is just way too much ahead of him.
Yeah, he's now just sticking behind and hoping not to lose too much time, and then maybe get him on the Camel Straight or just the normal start-finish straight.
They're going in through Puon right now. Oh, Alvaro's back. Crow's back in, gets over the curbs, and he falls back from Alvaro as he had a little bit of an understeer going through Puon. Carrying in a little bit too much speed as they fly through campus and in through Stavelot. Shaju v. Williams, who will get the last podium position here in Spa? Can Tip manage his tires throughout until the end of this race? And as well, the same question for Crow right now, because Crow does have the higher wearing tires than Preschner and Alvaro with one extra lap on them. Or will the race belong to a soft tire runner of Merrick, who's been pushing his way throughout the field all the way from last place going up into P8 right now?
Yeah, he's had a great start and a great race until now, jumping up 8 positions from the start. Great racing from him.
And we see Crow. Crow's going to shoot up the inside into Lecombs. He cuts off Alvaro Keraton and closes the door, but Crow's back in, kicking out, but Crow keeps it in P3. Alvaro falling down into P4 at the very end of Camel Straight. Crow just let Alvaro think he was in the safe zone going down the Camel Straight, but Crow out of nowhere sends it up there, and he gets P3. And now Alvaro going for the attack for Williams.
Yep, it's going to be interesting coming to the end, because there's also going to be a battle with the tires.
Yeah, Tire's definitely going to pull out a little interpersonal battle with them right now, but honestly, here at Spa, I don't think the medium tires are going to count in as much as we think, as we are already halfway through this race, and we have 10 laps to go. Medium tires here last around 15 laps in total, so no one going for any ridiculous strategy. But Crow still leading Alvaro Keraton as they go in through La Source.
Coming up to Camel Straight, it's going to be interesting to see if Keraton can get enough speed and enough slipstream to get past him into Lacombe.
Alvaro positioning himself just right behind of Crow. He's closing in drastically. Can he make the move on him? No, he doesn't. But I do believe somebody who is known for having an overtaking show, and that is Chim, down in P10. He's looking at the back of Yan Feller. He is on those soft tires, so is Yan. Chim is on the older soft tires, though, so he might be closing down. But he did just set the fastest lap of the race, and he is closing in on Yan Feller right here.
Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant battle between these two.
Chem, the overtaking monster we saw at Monaco. Definitely known for his moves on people. So he does have what it takes to get past him. He just has to get up to pass him. Might be using the straights to his advantage right here.
Yeah, coming through Blanchimont here. really watching out, just making sure not to get any dirty air when staying behind.
Now we're going to switch up back to Alvaro, Keraton, and Crow in the battle for P3. Going on through the source. Alvaro on the gearbox of Crow. They are so close to each other as they're coming up through Alvaro and Radion. Going down straight. Here goes Alvaro. He sends it up on Crow. And he gets P3 and actually closes the door in the braking zone. And it is Alvaro Keraton in P3 once again. On lap 15 of 22 as we see Crow getting a bit loose on the exit and popping up a big piece of dirt right there.
Yeah, and that's something that could really suffering your race, because dirt on your tires is not something that's going to benefit you with traction coming out of those corners.
This isn't rallycross, this is F1.
Yes, indeed, it very much is.
As we see a three-way fight between Colas, Merrick. Oh, we got a yellow flag. It's Jan Feller. Feller on the outside of Pouon. And he's falling down a lot of positions. He rejoins the track in P12, but he is being closed in by Janab. But Feller and those soft tires, he just bit off a little bit too much than he could chew, and he falls down a few spots, and that promotes Chim up into P9.
Yeah, Chem in P9. Really now he has a big gap up to Marek, so...
We got a three-way fight with ERL, VSR, and VP Merrick. 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. These three cars all so close to each other. It could be anyone's game, so we're going to be watching this battle for P6.
Yep, coming up. A Rouge up to Radion. And then down the Camel Straight. Who will get out on top?
Colas in the slipstream. Colas might make a late breaking move, but no, he's going to stay with him right there and let Patrick another time by for P6. Colas just a little bit too late to make any moves because Merrick was closing in on them. And Merrick, the biggest mover of this race, just wants to have a very good race and finish the race. To get points, he wants first finish. So, both of them thinking very logically on not taking any last-minute moves on ERL Patrick, who's been running up in 6th place today.
Yes, he has, and Marek coming up into 8th here into this battle, climbing up 8 positions from where he started.
9.
No, oh yeah, even 9, that's right. Great racing from him today.
Yeah, he's definitely driver of the day material right now. As everyone is in these closing laps here in Spa, the race is getting closer and closer with different tires coming up with everyone else.
Yeah, it's now the tires are going to come into play. Who has worn them out and who has conserved them.
I believe the soft tires should be running out of grip right now, and they actually might be struggling for a little bit of grip because they do last for 10 laps. They will have 12 total laps on them at the very end. So these soft tires are going to have a lot of trouble keeping up the pace from the charging medium tires. But again,
Yes, they will be
all the medium tires, though, they're on them longer than the soft tires, but they do last longer.
Yeah, and in these closing stages, it's all about the tire wear.
We see Merrick on the tail end of this group. He's actually being dropped a little bit by Colas and Patrick right now.
I think his tires are beginning to wear out. He's been on them for 8 laps.
We're coming up through campus right now, and yeah, Merrick definitely struggling for grip. was half a second from Colas and Patrick, and now he's dropped down to 0.7. He's gained it back up throughout that corner, so he must love Savlot that much. But just on the exit, he is not having any luck right there. As we have a little bit of a battle for the lead right now. Preschner has closed in on Timp. So the battle for the lead is not over just yet. It's actually just begun started again. Timp under pressure by Preschner. Williams versus VP.
Yeah, it's coming up the Camel Straight here.
And we also got a battle behind them. We got Crow and Keraton behind. And Crow just sitting behind a Keraton. He could have made that move if he wanted. But I think he's waiting for the very last lap like you do in Maku to make that jump on to the lead. And that's kind of very smart. If you know you have the pace to get ahead of the guy, just sit on the back end tail and just secure that spot for the very end. It's a little bit of strategy with car positioning in these closing laps also happening with 5 laps to go. As they're coming up to the ghosted car of James Pinkster.
Yeah, Pinsker getting some connection issues at the very start of this race.
See Preschner and Tip racing down through Blanchimont. Also the battle behind between Crow and Alvaro. We'll be switching between these battles throughout this time. So going up into the bus stop chicane though, Preschner and Tip, their gaps are by half a second. Preschner though falling just a bit behind Tip, but he might try to make a move with 3 laps left. 4 laps left.
Yep, as this battle is going to go right down to the wire.
We'll look at Crow right now as they're going down the Camel Straight. Crow has a big charge on the exit. But he's not going to make the move one more time. I think he is just going to sit on Alvaro's gearbox and just wait to the very last end because he knows how much Alvaro loves to try to go for overtakes. Or he's saving resources.
It could be both things combined, just saving up those resources and then go for the overtake at the end.
They fly through Poulon right now. And actually, Alvaro and Crow are closing in on Preschner. That gap falling down to almost a second. And we might have a 4-way fight for the lead if this gets any closer.
Yep, as they've been catching up quite a bit here. Down to 0.8 of a second.
They're all within a second as Chambo Baski picks up a 3-second time penalty. He is 6 seconds ahead of Corny with the Zen team, but that is not going to deal good for him in the long run, especially if he gets another one. With 3 laps remaining, Preschner, Tip, Keraton, and Crow, all of them within a second of each other. They will all have DRS except for Tip. Ladies and gentlemen, we got all themselves, I believe, a 4-way fight for the lead. Alvaro and Crow are a bit behind this right now as they're coming up through El Rouge and Redon and down once more. The Camel Straight. Preschner looking good to pounce right now, and he's going for it. Actually, no, he sold him a dummy. But Tip was not in the store to buy anything. Gave a little bit of a nudge down the inside, but Preschner still on the gearbox of Tip right now. Trying to find any way around for the lead that he can.
Now look at the gap.
Yeah.
Keraton and Crow is right up in this fight now. Crow a bit behind Keraton, but they're still in this fight. This is looking to be a 4-way fight for the lead. coming towards these last 2.5 laps.
All I get to say is I hope you guys have popcorn, because this is going to get interesting. They're going through Copa Paul Ferrer once more and up through Blanchimont. Will Preschneider try anything? Yes, he will. He's going up for the inside movement. May try to hold him around the outside. Preschneider sneaks it past on his front wing. And he does get ahead of Timp, but Timp looking up the inside, going into the braking zone. Big lockup for Preschneider right now. Timp, though, right behind a Preschneider, as well as Alvaro Caraton and Crow. All four of these guys, all within a second of the leader, as they break hard for La Source once more. Preschneider now has to deal with defending on all these guys as they're approaching El Rouge and Radion. 2 more laps remain here in Spa.
Yeah, but there's a close battle for the lead.
They're going
now Timp
going to the outside. They're leaving Alvaro and Crow just a bit behind. Timp sneaks down to the inside now, takes a defensive position up on pressure, and now Timp takes back the lead. But look how close they are! All in this massive train. It's like a sped up formation lap, honestly.
Could this end with Williams 1-2? With Caraton being right up the tail of Preschneider?
Or will Preschneider take the surprise victory? Or Crow! He can also make a move in this fight. With just 2 laps remaining, they're coming up onto the final lap. 2 more times through Corporate Paul Ferrer. Oh, we have our first retirement actually, and that goes to Jan Feller. That's very unfortunate, but that puts up Janab up into that points paying position for the Rapid Racing team.
Yes, indeed it does. When he actually crashed in the entrance to the corner with no name.
Ooh. Well, there's not going to be a safety car for that. Big puffs of smoke because we are on the very last lap, everybody. It's Timp leading out, followed by Preschneider, Caraton, and Crow. Who is going to have the advantage here as we saw Alvaro ducking his nose in through the source, but unable to scare Preschneider into giving that thing as Preschneider has a massive run up through El Rouge and Radion. They're side by side up into Camel Straight. Here comes Alvaro Caraton though. Alvaro, Tip being bounced around like a little pinball. Alvaro sneaks up on the inside. Tip and Alvaro's going to send it up the inside. For 2, he's actually going to push Preschneider out wide. Preschneider falls down 4 positions and he's now having a side-by-side ding-dong battle with Crow, and he pushes Crow out wide into the gravel, and Crow falls down into P4. But Alvaro, out of nowhere, sends it into P1.
This is great racing by Alvaro Caraton down the Camel Straight, making this now Williams 1-2. Can they keep it till the end of this lap? Or will Preschneider dive it down the inside or go around the outside? Come Blanchimont.
They're flying through campus and approaching Stavelot. Preschneider just on the rear of Tip. Williams going for another dominating win right now. They're coming up out of Copa Paul Ferrer and up into Blanchimont. Preschneider looking for an outside move. Tip holding that inside line. Preschneider though, pressuring him in the braking zone. They have a massive lockup. Preschneider has the inside line. And on the exit, Preschneider forces Tip out wide. And Preschneider takes P2. Alvaro takes the win. Preschneider with Tip in 3rd. Followed by Crow, Topa, Patrick picking up a 5-second stop go. And so Colas takes up P6. Merrick finishes in P7. Chem in P8. Patrick in P9. Janab now coming across the line right now, but due to penalties, Corny finishes P10. Janab in P11, followed by Sinek and non-runner. What a finish and what a last lap we just saw, as it's Alvaro Caraton taking the win for Williams once more.
Great racing by Caraton on that last lap. And great racing for the whole race in general for him. They come out here onto the podium.
They lift up the trophy in victory. And it's Alvaro Carreton taking the win as they spray the champagne. And like they have all season, it is Williams on top. What a fight by Prushner and crew to challenge these guys for the lead. But after that race, here are your finishing results. It's Carreton taking the win, followed by Prushner, Tip, Crow, Topa, Collis, Merritt, Chambalabasi, Sem, Corny, Janab, Sinek, Non-Runner, Assassin, James Weekser, Jan Feller coming up at the end. Vito did not start the race. Well, after that, I believe we should start up for some interviews right now, so we'll be right back in the interview room. And we're back after that little short break. What a exhilarating finish we saw, gents.
Yes, that was very exhilarating with just Alvaro Carreton coming into Le Combe and taking that three overtakes there, going from third up to first and just taking the lead out of that.
It was certainly a send up the inside in the braking zone, but Alvaro kept his cool. Tip also playing a little bit of a role in there after being bounced around in between two cars. He was caught up in the middle, but it was a amazing performance by both Williams drivers to get that 1-2. But I still have to shout out Prushner and Crow for being up with them and providing an amazing battle and actually closing up with the leaders.
Yeah, that was great racing by them. First having their battle for third, and as you said, then catching up to the leaders.
Yeah, we were waiting on a few drivers to hop into the interview room, but apparently no one wants to talk to us, and they just want to breathe and just have a good time. So I believe that is going to wrap it up. Jens, any closing remarks?
No, not really.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I've been joined by Jens. I am Austin Knight, and I hope you guys have a good night.